Have you ever noticed how many people toil relentlessly their entire lives, yet never truly experience abundance? They die exhausted, disillusioned, and broke, despite following all the rules. Meanwhile, others seem to achieve success with effortless ease. But what if I told you it's not about hustle, luck, or brains? What if I said everything changes when you shift your mindset? Because money isn't the ultimate goal, it's a reflection. A reflection of what you believe is possible for your life. Do you truly believe your reality is dictated by circumstance? That the economic downturn, the government, your boss, or your challenging childhood are to blame? I did, for years. And guess what that got me? Frustration, debt, anxiety. The simple truth is, your reality doesn't stem from the external world, but from your mind. The world simply mirrors what you believe you deserve. This isn't meant to be provocative, but awakening. Because you might be living a life that was never truly yours. You might be replaying patterns, beliefs, and behaviors that aren't your own, inherited from family, educators, the media, your culture. You never questioned them, you just accepted them. Living life on autopilot, day after day, thinking, this is all I can achieve. Rich? That's for people born with silver spoons. I'm just not good with money. These aren't harmless thoughts, they're instructions to your subconscious, and the subconscious doesn't question, it obeys. You might wake up every day yearning for a better life, but if deep down you believe you don't deserve it or can't achieve it, nothing will change. That was me. I dropped out of school in 8th grade, worked gas stations, auto shops, factories, no dreams, no direction. I believed that was the best I could do. And guess what? That's exactly what I got. But what changed my trajectory wasn't money, connections, or a miracle. It was a book. An idea. A new way of thinking. Reading, Think and Grow Rich, was a revelation. I was trapped in a self-image of poverty. I saw myself as a mere survivor, and that's all I could manage. Surviving. Scrapping by. Living paycheck to paycheck. Have you ever felt that way? Ended the month wondering where your money went? Felt ashamed to check your bank app? Been afraid to look at your balance, knowing it reflects exactly how you feel about yourself? This isn't because you're lazy, unlucky, or indolent. It's because your mind is still programmed for survival, not prosperity. Stanford University made a remarkable discovery: 95% of our decisions are made by the subconscious. Get this, you might be consciously fighting tooth and nail, but if your subconscious is secretly sabotaging you, you lose. Every single time. And you don't even realize it. Here's the truly mind-blowing part: when you start changing your self-image, the whole world changes with you. Opportunities arise, the right people appear, doors that seemed locked swing open. Not because the world changed, but because you did. I remember one day, still a firefighter in Toronto, after an exhausting shift. I was sitting alone, staring at the ground, thinking, is this it? This is my life? Work, bills, survival. In that quiet solitude, the realization hit me. I was responsible for where I was. If I could create a mediocre life with limiting beliefs, imagine what I could create with expansive ones. That's what I want to show you. You don't need to be extraordinary to prosper, you need to learn to see yourself as deserving, capable, already on the path to wealth. Because what you see, you feel. And what you feel, you attract. Want a practical example? Take a piece of paper, write, "I am a magnet for prosperity," and stick it on your mirror, fridge, anywhere. Look at it every day. Each time, feel it as if it's already true. Your subconscious learns through repetition and emotion. Do this for 21 days. Simple. Powerful. You'll find yourself making different decisions. Saying no to things that pull you away from prosperity. Seeing possibilities where you once saw obstacles. All because you decided to start from within. Your first million isn't outside you, it's hidden behind the image you carry of yourself. Change the image, and the reflection in the mirror and your bank account will never be the same. People say they want to be rich, but when you ask, How much, they hesitate, mumble, look away. That's because most people have vague desires. They want a better life, more comfort, financial security, but lack the clear, specific, felt understanding of what that means. That's why nothing happens. The universe doesn't respond to confusion, it responds to clarity infused with emotion. When I started changing my life, one fixed idea consumed me. I wanted to earn $100,000. It wasn't random, I visualized it daily, felt it as an undeniable truth. I saw myself signing checks, counting money, walking tall. And even without experience or education, I achieved it. It wasn't magic, it was intention. A burning desire coupled with absolute clarity. What motivates you today? Do you know exactly how much you want to earn this year? Where you want to live? What you want to wear? Who you want to be with? How you want to feel waking up? If you don't have these answers, you're trying to drive without a steering wheel or GPS, hoping to reach a destination you haven't even defined. As Napoleon Hill said, a weak desire brings weak results, just as a small fire produces little heat. You need to fuel that desire until it consumes you. It needs to be bigger than fear, doubt, the voice that says you can't. People fear desiring greatly, taught that desire is greed, wanting money is wrong, that humility means being grateful for what you have. That's not humility, it's conditioning. True gratitude doesn't paralyze, it expands. You can be grateful for what you have and still desire much more. That's evolution. Every night, before bed, I wrote down my goals in detail, one by one. I didn't just write them, I visualized, felt, believed them. I mentally placed myself in that scenario. Modern science calls this mental rehearsal, and studies from the Cleveland Clinic prove the brain doesn't differentiate between a real experience and a vividly imagined one. When you practice visualization with emotional intensity, you're literally training your brain to attract that reality. Here's a simple, powerful exercise. Get a notebook and write, I am so happy and grateful now that I earn dollar amount per month doing what I love, in complete freedom and prosperity. Replace dollar amount with a precise number. Feel it. Close your eyes and imagine opening your bank account and seeing that number. Imagine what you'd buy, how you'd live, how you'd behave in public. Do this every day. You'll see your mind begin to shift. When the mind changes, actions change. When actions change, results appear. I've seen this happen with countless people. One was Jim Carrey. He wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, dated it in the future, and carried it in his wallet. Years later, he received exactly that amount for one of his films. Coincidence? Or a mind that knew where it was going? The problem is, most people don't believe this can work for them. They think, oh, that works for people who are already famous, rich, lucky. But I ask you, what if they got there precisely because they started with that clarity? What if you're delaying your success because you're waiting for the world to prove something to you, instead of you proving who you are to the world? Don't fall into the trap of inertia. Accepting what happens, going on autopilot, repeating cycles because that's how it is. You might survive, but you'll never thrive. Your first million starts with a decision. Not just any decision, but one fueled by intense desire, sustained by clarity, and propelled by faith. Desire without action is fantasy. Clarity without emotion is cold planning. Faith without purpose is empty religiosity. But when you unite desire, clarity, and faith, you become unstoppable. And the universe, however improbable it seems, begins to rearrange itself to respond to that vibration. You don't receive what you want, you receive what you are. When you become someone who knows what they want, feels what they want, and acts as if it's already real, reality has no choice but to obey. There's a quiet, almost invisible belief ingrained in you since childhood, the idea that to have more money, you need to work more. And more. And more. As if the only way to prosper is through physical exertion, exhaustion, a fatigue that hurts body, mind, and spirit. That's one of the biggest fallacies ever told. And I can prove it. Because the truth is, you don't earn money, you attract it. When I first understood this, it seemed absurd. I'd scrubbed factory floors, changed tires, washed cars, worked hard, yet remained broke. I didn't realize money doesn't obey force, it obeys frequency. Money goes to those in harmony with it, with ideas, emotions, and decisions that create space for it to arrive. You can work all day, 7 days a week, but if you're vibrating with scarcity, anxiety, and doubt, your results will always be limited. Your vibration dictates what you attract. This isn't mysticism, it's science. The HeartMath Institute in the US conducted research showing that your heart and brain emit electromagnetic fields that influence not only your body, but your environment. These fields are directly affected by your emotions. In other words, your emotional state creates your field of attraction, which defines what enters your life. I met a young man in one of my workshops who was constantly struggling. Working 3 different shifts, rarely seeing his family, constantly sick, barely able to pay rent. When I suggested he might need to stop to start prospering, he laughed. Thought it was crazy. But I asked him to experiment. For a week, instead of seeking more overtime, he'd focus on raising his frequency. Waking earlier, meditating, visualizing the results he wanted, writing his goals, acting with confidence even without seeing results yet. He did. 2 weeks later, he received a business partnership offer from a friend he hadn't spoken to in years. A project that, in less than 6 months, generated double what he earned from all those jobs combined. Why? Because he stopped vibrating like someone needing to chase, and started vibrating like someone ready to receive. That's the point. As long as you're acting with desperation, urgency, fear of lack, you're sending a clear message to the universe, I don't have. And all you'll attract is more of that, lack, scarcity, urgency. But when you start acting like someone who's already prosperous, with serenity, presence, confidence, you're saying, I have, and the universe responds. I experienced this personally when invited to speak outside Canada. I'd never been to the US to speak publicly. No contacts, no international reputation, not even appropriate attire. But I was vibrating with confidence. I already saw myself there. The right connection simply appeared. One opportunity led to another. People I'd never met referred me. Everything happened as if planned, not because I forced it, but because I allowed it. That's what you need to understand. The more you try to control everything, the more you block the flow. Stop and think, have you ever felt that the harder you try to make money, the more it slips away? Notice that when you're relaxed, confident, at peace, things flow easily. That's not coincidence, it's frequency. Harvard Medical School states that people with positive emotional states perform better on cognitive tasks, have greater mental clarity, and are better at making sound decisions. You not only attract more opportunities, you identify and seize them better. Your brain literally functions better when you're emotionally aligned. So here's a practical tip: before trying to earn more money, work on raising your frequency. Put on inspiring music. Visualize your goal achieved. Take a walk feeling gratitude for what hasn't even arrived yet. Cultivate the feeling of, it's already mine, because that feeling is the magnet that draws it to you. If you doubt this works, look around. How many people do you know who work hard all the time yet remain in scarcity? How many others, perhaps less hardworking, seem to have life flowing smoothly, money arriving, opportunities arising, success growing? The difference isn't what they do. It's who they are while they do it. Ultimately, money doesn't go to those who struggle the most, it goes to those who vibrate correctly. There's something rarely mentioned, yet sabotaging millions daily: the fear of prosperity. Yes, fear of success. Fear of making money. Fear of rising in life. Sounds contradictory, doesn't it? Most say they want to win, to be rich, but deep down, in a quiet corner of the subconscious, resistance lurks. It's more common and destructive than you imagine. This fear isn't panic, it's subtle. It manifests as self-sabotage, procrastination, justifications, decisions that, however rational they seem, pull you away from where you truly want to be. How many times have you had a great idea but never acted on it? How many opportunities have you refused, claiming it wasn't the right time, you weren't ready, or it wasn't for you? What's behind this? The silent belief that if you prosper, something bad might happen. You might be rejected, envied, criticized, or even abandoned. This might stem from childhood. Perhaps you saw your parents struggling with money, associating wealth with arrogance, or linking money to separation, arguments, suffering. Unknowingly, you developed the idea that staying where you are is safer. It's safer to be average, invisible, acceptable in the eyes of others. So, even desiring a better life, you hit the brakes every time you start accelerating. It's like trying to drive with your foot on the gas and brake at the same time. The vehicle sputters, overheats, stalls. You feel this, don't you? That sensation of trying, but something always seems to hold you back, preventing you from moving forward. That something is internal. Until you confront it, no plan, strategy, or external effort will suffice. I clearly remember being invited to speak at an international conference alongside people I deeply admired. An honor. A milestone. But that week, I felt a strange unease. Insomnia. Headaches. Doubts about my content. I found myself thinking, what if I'm not good enough? What if they say I don't deserve to be here? I had years of experience. I'd transformed lives. I'd given larger talks. Yet there I was, blocked. Questioning my own worth. Why? Because that new opportunity was taking me to a level I subconsciously hadn't yet allowed myself to reach. That's the trap. Success will expose you. It'll place you in bigger places, before more demanding people, under higher expectations. If you don't feel worthy, you'll sabotage your growth. You'll be late, forget commitments, make basic mistakes, invent excuses. All with one purpose, to return to the familiar zone of mediocrity, where no one expects anything from you, no one judges you, and where you never prosper. You might think this doesn't apply to you, but consider, when you start getting better results, do you feel uncomfortable? When you receive compliments, do you tend to reject them? When you have extra money, do you feel the urge to spend it all, to enjoy life? These are symptoms of the fear of prosperity. Robin Williams is a tragic example. One of the greatest comedians of all time. Multimillionaire. Loved by millions. But inside, he carried such deep pain that not even success, money, or applause could fill it. He didn't see himself as deserving. That internal conflict consumed everything precious he had, his own life. The pain of not feeling enough, even having everything the world considers success. True prosperity begins within. It's pointless to have money if you carry guilt, shame, or fear of losing it. To break this cycle, you need to face this fear head-on. Make peace with the idea that being prosperous doesn't make you worse than anyone else. You won't disconnect from loved ones, get lost, or become sold out just because you can now travel, live better, or choose who you work with. Prospering isn't a betrayal of your values, it's a confirmation of them. Here's a practical step: start writing down your fears today. List everything that comes to mind when you think about being rich. Write without censorship. Then, look at that list and ask yourself, is this true? Or is it just a story I've repeated so many times it's become reality? You'll be surprised by the number of fallacies guiding your life. Remember, you weren't made to hide your light, you were born to shine. And the world needs your light on. For a long time, we were taught that prosperity was a matter of quantity. That those who work more earn more. That those who wake up earlier, kill themselves studying, run, sacrifice everything, ultimately win. The reality I've seen, in myself and thousands around the world, proves this false. It's not about doing more, it's about doing better, consciously, with aligned intention. You don't need to exhaust yourself, you need to act with direction, positive energy, and a clear mind. I've seen people constantly busy, yet stagnant. Producing endlessly, yet going in circles. Why? Because they weren't connected to what they were doing. There was no clarity, no purpose. Action was driven by fear, fear of lack, fear of failure, fear of disappointing. Are you trapped in a cycle of hustle and grind, feeling burnt out and broke despite your best efforts? You're not alone. Many people work themselves ragged, chasing that elusive financial freedom, only to find themselves further behind. The truth is, relentless effort fueled by fear and desperation is a recipe for exhaustion, not abundance. Think of my former student, a single mom juggling 3 jobs, perpetually drowning in debt. She wasn't interested in cosmic vibrations or wishful thinking, she craved tangible results. My advice? Ditch 2 jobs. She was stunned. But I explained that operating from a place of panic only perpetuates the problem. True power comes from control, from focusing your energy where it truly matters. She focused on her passion, teaching art. Within 3 months, her income doubled. 6 months later, she was teaching online students across 3 countries. A year later, she had weekends off and money in the bank, not because she worked harder, but because she worked *smarter*, aligning her actions with a new self-image. This is the core principle: intention, peace, and clarity amplify your actions exponentially. One smart decision trumps 100 hours of frantic activity. This isn't about passive waiting for a miracle, it's about creating a foundation of calm, focused energy. Harvard Business Review research backs this up. Professionals aligned with their values are 5 times more productive, less stressed, and experience far greater fulfillment. Working tirelessly without that alignment is self-sabotage, pure and simple. How many times have you finished a day feeling utterly exhausted, yet no closer to your goals? That's not a lack of effort, it's misdirected energy. You don't need more tasks, you need more presence, more awareness, more honesty in your choices. When your thoughts, feelings, and actions are in sync, you enter a state of flow, a powerful energy that accelerates progress. Ask yourself, are my actions moving me towards the life I want, or keeping me stuck in the one I want to leave behind? This simple question can be life-changing. Your first million isn't about hours worked, but the quality of your intention. Don't just do more, do better, do differently, do it aligned with your purpose. The universe will conspire in your favor. Ever notice how your environment shapes your financial mindset? Think about the limiting beliefs you absorbed growing up. Money doesn't grow on trees, that's too expensive, poor people stay poor. These ingrained beliefs create an invisible thermostat, an unconscious ceiling on how much you believe you deserve. Dreaming of wealth is fine, but if you subconsciously believe money is dirty or a privilege for others, guess what? You'll unconsciously create obstacles to keep it away. I experienced this firsthand. Early in my cleaning business, increased income led to reckless spending and debt. My inner programming was scarcity, not abundance. I didn't see myself as a millionaire, but as someone temporarily lucky, destined to return to reality. It almost happened until I realized the problem wasn't the money, but my self-belief. Does this resonate? Periods of success followed by sudden setbacks. Increased income leads to increased spending? Success brings fear, guilt, or shame. That's not bad luck, it's self-sabotage, fueled by outdated programming. Yale research confirms this. Prolonged exposure to scarcity narratives creates short-term thinking, fear of investment, and perpetual insecurity, even when reality dictates otherwise. You can escape poverty, but if you don't change your mindset, poverty persists within you. The most insidious part? This limiting environment often disguises itself as love. Well-meaning family, friends, and colleagues reinforce these beliefs, often unconsciously, because they are programmed the same way. When you grow and succeed, their discomfort can be immense. They may warn you that you'll change, that you'll regret it. If you're not strong internally, you'll retreat, fearing isolation. But the painful truth is, sometimes you need to create distance, from conversations that diminish you, from environments that keep you small, from habits that feed your old self. Prosperity requires space, mental, emotional, and social. Surround yourself with people, ideas, and experiences that expand you, not constrict you. For the next 7 days, pay close attention to everything you hear about money, conversations, TV, your own thoughts. Write it down. Identify and replace limiting beliefs and outdated phrases. When someone says, "It's impossible," counter with, "It's just difficult, for now." When they say, "Money doesn't buy happiness," respond with, "But lack of it brings suffering." This reprogramming requires practice, vigilance, and courage. Each time you refuse to accept a limiting belief, you move closer to freedom. You aren't poor, you're temporarily disconnected from your true, abundant self. What separates you from your first million isn't the external world, but your inner programming. Change the frequency, the environment, the script, and the scene will change. Your inner dialogue, that often unnoticed, self-critical voice, shapes your actions, decisions, and energy. Phrases like, "I'm bad with money, I can't save, this isn't for me," are self-sabotaging. Research from the University of Pennsylvania shows the brain conforms to repetition, even if it's a lie. There's no distinction between truth and a repeatedly asserted belief. It acts as absolute truth, shaping behavior. If you tell yourself money is hard, your brain will make it so. But you can change this internal conversation. Transforming your self-talk transforms your financial life. It's not magic, it's daily practice, a commitment to your success. Create powerful affirmations, statements of abundance, worthiness, and confidence. Not empty phrases, but declarations that resonate deeply. Read them morning and night, feeling the truth in them. I used this technique successfully. By shifting my inner dialogue to one of confidence and positive expectation, my energy shifted, solutions emerged where I once saw only problems. This isn't just positive thinking, it's brain rewiring. Oprah Winfrey and Tony Robbins preach the same, neuroscience confirms it. Neuroplasticity shows that by changing thoughts, you create new neural pathways, new ways of thinking and acting. Don't just repeat affirmations mechanically, connect emotion to them, visualize what you say, mentally experience abundance. Combine thought, emotion, and intention to create an energetic field that attracts your desires. For the next 21 days, craft affirmations aligned with your financial goals. Write them visibly, repeat them often, especially when feeling fear or doubt. Watch how your internal dialogue and your reality shift. The wealth you desire is born in your mind, in how you speak to yourself. If you don't treat yourself as deserving and capable, money will stay distant. Change your inner language, and you change your life. This is true prosperity. It begins with clarity of what you want and a firm decision that you deserve it. This combination moves the universe, but it's only the beginning. Join me for the next video, where we'll explore transforming obstacles into opportunities. Don't miss this crucial step in becoming a better version of yourself. Thank you for your time and attention, this could be life-changing. See you in the next video.